Bulabinaka, my name is Litia and I'm from the beautiful island of Laos and I love listening to Today FM. Today FM rocks.
My name is Casey, I'm from Tabua. We love Today FM in Tabua. Today FM rocks.
My name is Selina, I'm from Tawenga Vengamba. I love listening to Today FM. Today FM rocks.
Pula, my name is Carlo. I love listening to the music in Today FM, in Malak Island. Today FM rock.
Today's hit music on Today FM.
In the news tonight, Tropical Cyclone Josie claims 4 lives. Search for 5th person continues. Ba worst affected by floods. And heavy rain eases as TC Josie weakens.
From the studios of FBC Suva, Jackie Spade.
The torrential rain and flooding brought by Tropical Cyclone Josie has claimed the lives of 4 people, while 1 is still missing. In Ba, 52-year-old Saroj Lata was swept away by flood waters outside her home in Vatulao, Lao. Her husband Jagdish Chand today shared his ordeal with FBC News, saying the water level rose very quickly and he was unable to save his wife.
The 3 of us were holding onto a post, and it's just about 5 minutes. The house started to wash away in strong currents. The tin and timber from the house started hitting us and I got injured. But I still held on to my wife for almost half an hour. But when my hand got injured, I let go of the post, and that is when I was separated from my wife. But my son continued to hold on to the post.
In other incidents, 2 people passed away after their vehicle was swept away by strong currents in Nudiwai Nandi yesterday morning. The deceased are 57-year-old Virgander and his 25-year-old daughter Shinal Mudlia, who were on their way to the Nandi airport when their vehicle washed off the Tambarua Bridge. In Drasa Lautoka, a 59-year-old man was also swept away by strong currents while driving. Meanwhile, the search for a 19-year-old male who allegedly drowned in Waini Malika, Sambeto, Nandi while trying to cross a creek continues. The incident happened yesterday morning. Ba has been one of the worst affected areas by Tropical Cyclone Josie. The first images coming out of Yala Levu and Vatulao Lao shows the devastation caused by the flooding due to torrential rain brought in by Cyclone Josie. Ritika Pratap reports.
Residents in Yala Levu Ba say they were caught by surprise yesterday as the floodwater came into their compound and home from a new direction.
It's a bit different. Water came through the front gate and we just moved the car, and after that the water started to come from the windows at the back, so we couldn't save anything, we couldn't put everything up, so basically all our stuff were wet.
Shyam Kumar of Vatulao shared his experience of how he fought his fear to save his brother and his 2 children.
When I came here, I saw the water was level up to here on top, and these people were inside. They couldn't come out. And I was want to come and taking them out, but I can't. When the water comes little bit down, then I came up to this water here. When I came here to survive them, but I have been injured here. I was nearly drowned, but I managed to come to take them out. When I came inside, I saw they were up to this much water. If water 1 feet more, they should have been, all should have been died. It was a very bad condition. I can't say anything much like that because I got no power to do anything else, but I got some confidence to help them to take it out.
These videos clearly depict the situation these residents were in last night. Many have described the flood as one of the worst they have experienced to date. Andi Talakota Twima says she thanks the God as everyone in her family are safe.
I'm very much grateful that my family and I are alive. These belongings we have doesn't matter. It got damaged and was washed away, but thank God we're still here.
While some residents are trying to salvage their belongings, many others are left with nothing.
At the moment, they are staying with us. We are staying 14 of them in one house. And how I can survive this type of thing, it shouldn't be happen in anybody's life. What I have seen, please I asked people to help us.
Damage 30 to 50,000 probably, including if you take into account everything, the furnitures and everything, the fence, because whole of the fence has gone down. We have to put everything up, and everything inside the house got destroyed, even the groceries and everything.
The memory of the events on Saturday will haunt many of these residents for some time as they begin cleanup to try and restore their lives. Ritika Pratap, FBC News.
We now join our West reporter Felipe Naikaso, who has been touring these flooded affected areas. Felipe, what do you have for us?
Yes, Jackie, I've been around the bar area today, and all I've seen is people outside their houses trying to clean their house, getting their stuff out. I could see clothes out, I could see beds out, I could even see utensils and even some groceries that have been destroyed by the floodwaters that have reached inside their houses. I've also visited the bar town, and majority of the business people that also spoke to me, they told me that this is one of the worst floods that they've ever come across in their life. They said that their shops were just full of water and they're still counting their losses. Also, one thing I noticed, Jackie, is despite these people being badly affected, this hasn't left them disheartened, as they've tried to slowly pick up the pieces and to try and rebuild their lives back after going through one of the most devastating floods that they've labeled it here in Ba. I'm here in Vatulaulau, and here in Ba, and this is a place where one of a victim, a woman who had lost her life, she had died here. She was swept away by strong currents. Earlier also today, the Prime Minister Voreqe Bainimarama had visited places here in Ba. He had also visited places in Nadi. He came across here in Vatulaulau Ba, and he reassured those people who are currently suffering from these effects of the floods that help was on its way, and that they will try to do everything in their power to assist these families.
Thanks so much for that update, Felipe. Residents in Nadi also began cleanup from this morning as floodwaters in many parts receded overnight. The streets were washed and debris cleared by the National Fire Authority officials early this morning, after which residents began their own chores. Kelly Vadala reports.
This was the scene in most homes in Nadi today. People were up early as they began cleanup and also tried to salvage their belongings, which was displaced and damaged by the floods.
Now we have to start our cleaning, and it won't be easy as most of our belongings have been washed away. Our house is full of mud water, and as you can see, we try to save whatever we can. We have been able to sweep away flooded waters from inside the house, but what if it rains again? We are scared of the outcome because sometimes the weather is unpredictable. But when this place was getting flooded, we climbed onto the roof for safety. But thankfully, water has receded a little.
Residents made use to the little sun that they got to clean their surroundings. Nadi residents Chandar Prakash says business houses are aiming to resume operations from tomorrow.
People of Nadi are trying to clean all their houses and shops. Many times they are trying to clean their shops by washing down. And Main Street is getting still muggy at the moment due to flood water. Hopefully they are able to clean up quickly and resume their business normal by tomorrow.
It will take some time for these residents to get their lives back on track, and many are thankful that they're still alive. Kelly Vadala, FBC News.
Minister for National Disaster Management Inia Seruratu says their priority is to ensure all students from flood-affected areas in the Western Division return to classes in the next 48 to 72 hours. Seruratu says they are working closely with the Commissioner Western's office to ensure students return to school on time.
Most of the people in the evacuation centers have gone back to the communities to do their cleaning up. Commissioner West and the team will monitor if there is still a need for people to be in the evacuation centers, but we are mindful of the fact that the schooling needs to start as well, and for those that in schools, probably the possibility of relocating them will be looked into as well.
Meanwhile, NDMO has confirmed to FBC News that schools in the Western Division will be closed for 2 to 3 days. Tropical Cyclone Josie maintains its intensity as a Category 1 cyclone as it tracks south-southeast away from the group. Over the last 24 hours, it has slowed down in its movement and is expected to weaken. Kelly Vadala has more.
TC Josie was located about 180 kilometers south of Kandavo and 280 kilometers south of Kandavo at midday. It is moving south-southeast at about 7 kilometers per hour and is expected to move out of Fiji waters later tonight into early tomorrow morning. Villages in Kandavo, Matuku and Onoilau can expect damaging gale force winds with average speed of 65 kilometers per hour and momentary gusts to 90 kilometers per hour. The Weather Office anticipates gale force winds easing to strong with average speed of 50 kilometers per hour with gusts to 70 kilometers per hour later tonight. Damaging heavy swells, occasional rain, heavy at times, and few squally thunderstorms can be expected over Matuku and Onoilau. Occasional showers and possible thunderstorms can be expected over Kandavo. Sea flooding for low-lying areas is possible.
The warnings that we have currently in force for gales, strong wind warning over land areas, and for the strong wind warning and gale force winds warning over open waters, as well as for the flood alerts. We'll see that with the improvement of the weather, these warnings will be slowly lifted or cancelled.
Ravin Kumar says the river levels are high and receding slowly. He says the prevailing northerly winds are conducive to trigger localized heavy rainfall inland, and with high tide of about 2 meters this evening, the risk of flooding of low-lying areas remain high. All communities living in flood-prone and low-lying areas are reminded to take all necessary precaution and remain vigilant. Meanwhile, a trough of low pressure lies to the north of Fiji and is expected to drift over the group as TC Josie moves southeastwards. Kelly Badala, FBC News.
Still to come, 35 evacuation centres active. An inter-island vessel encounters engine problems. Stay with us.
Bula, kera mai singatoka, kera ndo talita kana varorong na Radio Fiji 1 and Domoy Viti.
Ayaw na rin siya. Uti kombinasyon mo tikola ndo talita kana Radio Fiji 1 kina Domoy Viti.
Ayaw ko yazo silitale, nagurara may naomanyi, nandunga. Gitu talita gini ang gagawin na sabale, nagudurong barong na Radio Fiji 1 na Domoy Viti.
Na Radio Fiji 1 na Domoy Viti na ponga ni BNN.
Prime Minister Voreqe Bainimarama began his tour of flood-affected areas this morning. Bainimarama started the tour from Suva and visited areas along the way towards the Western Division. He caught many people by surprise who were busy with their cleanup. Those affected shared their ordeals with the Prime Minister, who advised them that they can apply for assistance from FMPF. He also shared some light moments with the little ones. Over 1,800 evacuees are currently taking shelter at more than 30 evacuation centres in the Western Division. National Disaster Management Office Director Anare Leweningila confirms that 20 schools are part of these 35 evacuation centres. Pranita Prakash reports.
Majority of the evacuation centres are active in Nandi and Lotokap.
The latest count that we have from the reports from the Office of the Commissioner Western Division is that we have 35 activated evacuation center with around 1,873 evacuees which are currently being sheltered in these evacuation centers.
The NDMO director says schools which were being used as evacuation centers are now being cleared.
So one of the key things we are working now is to relocate evacuees who are using schools as an evacuation center. We are relocating them to other safe locations or evacuation centers that are available. This is just to ensure that we free up the schools and they are properly cleaned so that they can be ready and available for the resumption of classes from tomorrow.
Anare Leweningila says the teams are still on the ground monitoring the situation. He adds they are also providing assistance to ensure that essential services normalizes soon. Pranita Prakash, FBC News.
Many root crops are damaged due to heavy rain and strong winds as the people in Kandavo felt the brunt of TC Josie. Constable Paula Matayasi from the Vunise police station says the villagers took heed of the weather warnings and acted accordingly. He said they experienced occasional heavy rain, but strong winds continued from last night up until this morning.
Crops like cassava, dalo, bananas and wundi, they all fall down right now. And the animals are moving to the high grounds. The wind is still going strong. up. They have some evacuation centers around the village. The wind is very strong and the sea is very rough.
Raki residents and business owners cleared debris from their area this morning. Businessman Azmat Ali says water receded in the morning and all roads are clear and accessible. Ali says weather was a bit cloudy, but there has been no rain since last night.
At the moment in Raki there is no rain and there is no flood in town in Nangoro. And I'm not pretty sure about the other parts, interior of Raki, but in town there is no rain and no flood. All the road which is coming to town is open. The weather is a bit calm, cloudy, and there is no bright sunlight today.
Both Queens and Kings Road is open to traffic. The Fiji Roads Authority says flood-affected areas may have changed the road surface in some places and people can expect an increase in potholes. FRA contractors will soon be carrying out remedial work once the weather clears up. Motorists are advised to drive with extreme caution during this time and stay away of debris on the roads. Meanwhile, all roads are open in the Eastern Division. Passengers on board the MV Spirit of Altruism have finally been rescued and are now on board the MV Spirit of Harmony on their way back to Natovi. The vessel, which left Natovi Jetty for Nambawalu this morning, encountered an engine problem and as a result was stuck on the Dakandavui reef off Ndawasamu in Tailevu. A passenger, Brenda Fenton, says they were given life jackets for safety purposes and were served with refreshments while on board. Fenton adds they spent hours on the boat as they awaited the rescue from the shipping company. The vessel belongs to the Patterson Brothers Shipping Limited.
Just got off of the fiberglass boat that picked us up from the Spirit of Altruism, and I just got on the boat, the Spirit of Harmony. Everyone's a little bit shocked. Some people are a little bit scared of the water, but others had fun. There are still a few passengers on the Spirit of Altruism.
Patterson Shipping spokesperson David Patterson told FBC News they have informed the relevant authorities of the incident. Ahead in sports, Fiji Sevens works on attacking and defence areas. And Suva crowns new Easter cricket champions. Stay with us.
Bulabinaka, my name is Litia and I'm from the beautiful island of Laos and I love listening to Today FM. Today FM rocks.
My name is Casey. I'm from Tavua. We love Today FM in Tavua. Today FM rocks.
My name is Selena. I'm from Tavenga Vengamba. I love listening to Today FM. Today FM rocks.
Bula. My name is Carlo. I love listening to the music in Today FM in Malak Island. Today FM rock.
Today's hit music on Today FM.
The Fiji Airways Sevens side had their scrimmage session with the Hong Kong Sevens team at the Hong Kong Institute yesterday, focusing on their attack. Coach Gareth Baber says they have been working tirelessly on their attack and defence mechanism because they know defending the Hong Kong title will not be an easy task, as all the teams have been wanting to snatch this from our national Sevens gladiators. Baber says they need to come out strong in the contact areas and make low-biting tackles to avoid any disciplinary actions.
Defence is a key area along with attack, but I'll say it again, that when you lose ball off kickoff or you give ball away in easy areas of the field, you're always scrambling in a defence. Defence is exactly the same as attack in terms of control, and you want to control or defend in pieces, areas of the field where you're in control. You don't want to be in a position where you're scrambling around and trying to run around the field in twos and threes. You need to have 6 people on their feet and the 7th person commanding and managing those 6.
The Suva cricket team was crowned the Easter Cricket Championship after defeating Lakemba in the cup final at Suva's Albert Park this afternoon. With 20 overs, Lakemba scored under 10 rounds and the capital side replied with 1 out, where they won by 10 wickets. Luciana Tangivakimbao reports.
Winning the title after a period of 3 years was something the capital side has been missing for a while.
So for the boys, for the effort, for the game today, it's not an easy game for us because Lakemba is a tough team. They got some senior Fiji players in the team, but the boys were really prepared well for this tournament.
Suva cricket team manager Suliasina Olivo says this victory is just the beginning of the journey to success.
And now is to keep on moving forward, especially to our sponsors. For the next 2 weeks, they'll do a Super 6 and Super 10 cricket tournament so that we can promote the cricket in Suva and also Fiji.
Lakemba team manager Jose Mbamba says despite losing out in the final, they'll try and go back to revive the sport in the island.
Or take this, the spirit of this cricket back to the island of Lakemba.
Meanwhile, Cricket Fiji will announce its team later this week to compete in the World T20 qualifier in August. Luciana Tangidakimbau, FBC Sports.
More than 12 teams were part of the Rewanga Easter basketball competition that took place at Eds Court today. Association President Ruben Dolati says the team's performances have been impressive during the 3-day tournament. Dolati adds this tournament is also part of the trials for the upcoming Fiji basketball competition.
The top teams at the moment are Spoward, Grantham, Crossroads and Jazz. In the women's division, we have Crossroads Women and the We Magics Women. So those are the teams that are looking good at the pool stages today. I'm sure they will make it to the playoffs on Saturday.
The International Federation Bodybuilding Pro event, which was held in Nandi over the weekend, brought together local and international talent. Luciani Tangivakimbao reports the event was a success as it gave an opportunity to the local bodybuilders to showcase their hard work.
Fijian bodybuilder Zoheb Razak says the competition gave him and other locals a chance to compete in the sport they love.
Actually, it's the first pro show ever held in any of the Pacific Island countries. And the athletes that were competing here were world-class that compete on the Mr. Olympia stage, which is the largest bodybuilding stage in the world.
Following this successful competition, there are plans to host similar events in future.
It's definitely growing. This is the first time it's held here, so hopefully it's going. We're going to try and hold 2 shows a year. So we'll try and do one at the end of the year if we can, or next year again we'll do another pro show like this at a much larger level.
America's Mr. Olympia 2017, Breon Ansley was overwhelmed with the response from the Fijian crowd.
They were ignited and excited, and that made the whole show just that much more spectacular. So this was a great event. I'm sure it was, one in the history books as far as, this was the first one in Fiji.
Fiji has created history by hosting such an event for the first time, where around 40 to 60 bodybuilders had a showdown at the Nandi Event Centre. Luciana Tangidakimbao, FBC Sports.
New Zealand's Joseph Parker lost his WBO to Anthony Joshua, but it's up to Parker if he wants to fight him soon for a title shot in the future. After a week of humiliation by the St. George Illawarra